Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. The video we're going to share with you today is intended to inform you about Sumerian mythology. You can support us by liking and subscribing to the video. If you are ready, let's get to the content. Anu is an important god in Mesopotamian mythology. Mesopotamia is a region inhabited by the Sumerians, one of the oldest civilizations in history. In Sumerian mythology, Anu is considered the supreme sky god and the ancestor of all other gods. He was also an important god in other Mesopotamian cultures such as Assyria, Babylon, and Akkad. Anu is often referred to as the king of the heavens. In Sumerian mythology, the sky, which Anu rules, is considered the place where the other gods live. He was given overall control of the universe, including the stars, planets, and other celestial phenomena. Anu's consort is a goddess known as Antu-Orki and is sometimes referred to together with him. This goddess is considered a symbol of the earth and the earth. Anu's role in Mesopotamian mythology can change over time. For example, among the Babylonians he is considered the father of Marduk and was worshipped as an important god during the Babylonian Empire. Since Mesopotamian mythology includes many gods and goddesses, the stories and characteristics of Anu may vary. But in general, it can be said that Anu is considered the lord of the sky and the ancestor of the gods. Enlil, another Sumerian god. Enlil is a great god according to Mesopotamian mythology. He is considered a god worshipped by the Sumerians, Akkadians, and other Mesopotamian peoples. Enlil was seen as in charge of weather, wind, storms, agriculture, justice and kingship. He was also known as the president of the assembly of gods and ruled over the decisions of this assembly. Enlil's name means Lord of the Air in Sumerian, and this name emphasizes his most important role. Air was vital in Mesopotamian culture and essential for agriculture, water, and life in general. Enlil was believed to be in control of the wind and storms. Because of this, he was believed to have a great influence on agricultural productivity and people prayed to him for fertility and health. In mythology, Enlil played an important role in many epics and legends. For example, in the myth of the Great Flood, he is shown as the leader of the assembly of gods that decided to destroy humanity. He is also considered the guardian of royal tradition and social order. Kings who worshipped Enlil believed that they ruled under his supervision. Enlil is also associated with other gods of Mesopotamian mythology. For example, he is often compared to Enki, the god of wisdom and water, and sometimes they cooperate and sometimes they compete. He is also often mentioned together with Ninlil, or Sud, Enlil's consort. Enlil is considered one of the supreme gods of Mesopotamian mythology and was greatly worshipped in Sumerian, Akkadian, and other Mesopotamian cultures. Various temples were built to him, prayers were offered and sacrifices were offered. His authority and influence were central to the belief system of these ancient societies, and he is remembered as a god that endures to this day. Enki, another god of the Sumerians, Enki is an important god in Mesopotamian mythology. He is considered a god worshipped by the Sumerians, Akkadians, and other Mesopotamian peoples. Enki was seen as a god with authority in areas such as wisdom, water, reason, craft, magic, and fate. He is also recognized as the creator and protector of humanity. Enki's name means place in the world in Sumerian, emphasizing that he was a god concerned with earthly and practical matters. Water was vital to Mesopotamian societies, and Enki was believed to be in control of it. Because of the dependence on water for agriculture, fertility, fishing, and general life, people prayed to Enki and asked for his help. Enki's role in mythology is quite varied. For example, in the Epic of Atrahasis, Enki plays a key role in the creation of humanity and the Great Flood. Also, in the wisdom myth, Enki is described as representing wisdom, knowledge, and craftsmanship among the gods. This myth emphasizes the idea that Enki gave people knowledge and skills and helped them develop their civilization. Enki is also associated with much wisdom and magic. In mythology, he is believed to guard a series of sacred relics called Ms, which represent the wisdom and abilities of the gods. These Ms offer civilization, culture, crafts, and other important items to humans. Enki's power over wisdom and magic is one of the characteristics that distinguishes him from other gods. Enki is an important figure in Mesopotamian mythology, and many temples had places dedicated to him. People prayed to him, offered sacrifices to him, and tried to communicate with him to ask for help. The worship and belief in Enki was central to the social, cultural, and religious life of Mesopotamian society. The mythological stories and worship of Enki have survived through the ruins of Mesopotamian civilizations. His wisdom, the power of water, and his love for humanity occupy an important place in Mesopotamian culture, and he is remembered as a god who is still being researched and explored today. Inanna is a figure considered an important goddess in Mesopotamian mythology. She is seen as a goddess worshipped and revered by the Sumerians, Akkadians, and other Mesopotamian peoples. Inanna is in charge of love, beauty, sexuality, war, fertility, justice, and death. She is also known as the goddess of the moon. Inanna's name means celestial queen or lady of heaven in Sumerian, emphasizing her greatness as a celestial being. Inanna's beauty and allure are often described in legends. As a goddess, she plays a major role in matters of love and sexuality, and many mythological stories tell of her romantic relationships and sexual adventures. Inanna is an important character in mythology and appears in many stories and legends. For example, the myth of the Way of Inanna tells of Inanna's journey to the underworld. During this journey, the theme of death and rebirth is explored. Also, the legend of Dumuzi and Inanna tells of Inanna's relationship with her lover Dumuzi and is a story associated with the cycle of the seasons. Inanna is also considered a goddess of war and justice. In mythology, she symbolizes warrior qualities and power. As the guardian of justice, she defends the wronged and ensures that justice is done. The worship of Inanna was widespread and important in Mesopotamian societies. Many temples were dedicated to Inanna and people prayed to her, offered sacrifices, and performed rituals. In addition, Inanna's priestesses, the Intu, represented the goddess and conducted religious ceremonies on her behalf. Utu is a figure considered an important deity in Mesopotamian mythology. He is a sun god worshipped and revered by the Sumerians, Akkadians, and other Mesopotamian peoples. As the god of the sun, Utu is authorized in areas such as the enlightenment of nature and society, justice and order. Utu's name means day in Sumerian, emphasizing that he represents the sun. Utu's role as the sun god is to illuminate and warm the world and support life. He is therefore considered a god reflecting the vital importance of the sun for agriculture, fertility, and general life. In mythology, Utu is believed to be the god of justice and order. He protects the wronged, punishes criminals and enforces laws to maintain order in society. Myths and stories about Utu's dispensation of justice emphasize his influence and authority. Utu also plays an important role in war. He is prayed to and asked for help for the victory of the war. Mythology tells of epic battles and heroic deeds that symbolize Utu's strength and courage. The worship of Utu was widespread and important in Mesopotamian society. Many temples and sanctuaries were dedicated to Utu. People prayed to him, offered sacrifices and performed rituals. The worship of Utu was of great importance in a society where the presence and power of the sun played a critical role in human life. Utu is considered one of the most important gods of Mesopotamian mythology. The power, light and warmth of the sun was one of the key elements that influenced the life of society and nature. Utu became a revered and worshipped figure as a symbol of this power. Today, Utu is remembered as an entity that is researched and studied as part of the major deities in Mesopotamian mythology and history. Nana is a figure considered an important deity in Mesopotamian mythology. She is a moon god worshipped and revered by the Sumerians, Akkadians, and other Mesopotamian peoples. As the god of the moon, Nana is in charge of the illumination of the night sky, fertility, family, sacred marriage and wisdom. Nana's name means Great Father in Sumerian, emphasizing that she is a revered and protective figure. Nana's role is to light up the night sky and illuminate the world. The moon plays an important role in the agricultural calendar in Mesopotamian society, and therefore Nana is considered the god of fertility and agriculture. In mythology, Nana is believed to be associated with family and sacred marriage. He is married to the goddess Inanna, and this marriage represents the order and balance of the world. The union of Nana and Inanna is seen as a model of the marriage of gods and humans. Nana is also considered the god of wisdom. Her wisdom is associated with the changeable nature of the moon and its influence on the calendar. Nana's worshippers sought her wisdom, understanding, and guidance. Nana worship was widespread and important in Mesopotamian society. Many temples and sanctuaries were dedicated to Nana. People performed rituals, prayed to her and offered sacrifices according to the phases of the moon. In addition, Nana's priests conducted religious ceremonies in her name. Nana is considered an important part of Mesopotamian mythology and culture. The presence of the moon played a central role in people's lives, the agricultural calendar and religious beliefs. In this context, Nana is referred to as a god who influenced the life of Mesopotamian society and was worshipped. Today, Nana is remembered as an entity studied and memorialized by researchers and scholars working on Mesopotamian mythology and history. Ninjutsu is a figure considered an important deity in Mesopotamian mythology. He is known as a god worshipped and respected by the Sumerians. Ninjutsu is authorized in areas such as war, agriculture, fertility, crafts, justice, and construction. He is also recognized as the god of war. Ninjutsu's name means Lord's soldier in Sumerian, and this name emphasizes his warrior qualities and war-related abilities. Ninjutsu is considered a powerful and feared god. He is prayed to and begged for help to ensure victory in battle. In mythology, Ninjutsu often collaborates with other gods and is seen as their ally. In particular, he has a close relationship with his father Enlil and his grandfather Anu. Ninjutsu's victories and martial skills are described in mythological stories, emphasizing his strength and courage. Ninjutsu is also associated with agriculture and fertility. Agriculture was one of the main livelihoods of Mesopotamian societies, and ninjutsu is believed to have played an important role in ensuring fertility and increasing agricultural production. He is also believed to have great skill in crafts and construction. His worshippers would look to him for success and inspiration in these fields. The worship of ninjutsu was widespread and important in Mesopotamian society. Various temples and sanctuaries were dedicated to ninjutsu. Worshippers prayed to him, offered sacrifices to him, and participated in religious ceremonies organized in his name. Ninjutsu's priests performed rituals in his name and were responsible for conveying his messages and will in society. Ninjutsu is one of the major deities of Mesopotamian mythology and has a great influence in vital areas such as warfare, agriculture, fertility, and crafts. His worship and belief were central to the religious and cultural life of Mesopotamian society. Ninjutsu is recognized today as a deity studied and remembered by researchers studying Mesopotamian mythology and history. Ninhursag is a figure considered an important goddess in Mesopotamian mythology. A goddess worshipped and revered by the Sumerians and Akkadians, Ninhursag is in charge of fertility, nature, earth, health, and rebirth. She is also known as Nintu, Ninma, or Mummy. Ninhursag's name means Great Female Mountain in Sumerian, emphasizing that she represents nature, the earth, and the origin of life. Ninhursag is considered the main principle of the natural world and nature. The soil was vital for the growth of plants and fertility, and Ninhursag is considered a goddess revered as the protector and source of this fertility power. In mythology, Ninhursag is seen as a creative goddess. Together with the god Enki, she plays an important role in the creation of humanity. She also protects the sacred relics of the gods called Emi and offers civilization, culture, and wisdom to humans. Ninhursag is also associated with health and healing. He is prayed to and his help is sought for the healing of the sick and the preservation of health. Ninhursag is a goddess believed to possess medical knowledge and healing powers. The worship of Ninhursag was widespread and important in Mesopotamian society. Many temples and sanctuaries were dedicated to Ninhursag. Worshippers prayed to her, offered sacrifices, and performed rituals for fertility and fertility. Ninhursag is an important figure of Mesopotamian mythology and had a great influence on vital matters such as nature, fertility, and health. Her worship and belief were central to the religious and cultural life of Mesopotamian society. Today, Ninhursag is recognized as a goddess studied and remembered by researchers studying Mesopotamian mythology and history. Nergal is a figure considered an important deity in Mesopotamian mythology. He was worshipped and revered by the Sumerians, Akkadians, and other Mesopotamian peoples. Nergal is authorized in areas such as war, death, disease, the underworld, and fate. Nergal's name means man who brings disaster in Sumerian, emphasizing that he was considered a powerful, feared, and destructive god. Nergal is recognized in mythology as the god of war and represents particularly terrible epidemics. Nergal is also seen as the god of the underworld. He is associated with death and the afterlife. In Mesopotamian mythology, he is considered the ruler of the underworld and can reign there in darkness and pain. Nergal plays a role in the underworld to welcome the souls of the dead, to rule and to ensure justice. In mythology, Nergal is often associated with the queen of the underworld named Ereshkigal. This relationship represents the rule and balance of the underworld. The stories between Ereshkigal and Nergal deal with the theme of death and rebirth. Nergal is sometimes associated with heat, drought, and the burning of the sun. This reflects his destructive and death-bringing aspect. On the other hand, in some mythological stories, Nergal is also associated with love and romance. The worship of Nergal was widespread and important in Mesopotamian society. Many temples and sanctuaries were dedicated to Nergal. Worshippers prayed to her, offered sacrifices, and participated in religious ceremonies organized in her name. Nergal's worship included requests for protection against the effects of epidemics, death, and the underworld. Nergal is an important deity of Mesopotamian mythology, with great influence in matters such as war, death, and the underworld. His worship and belief was part of the religious and cultural life of Mesopotamian society. Today, Nergal is recognized as a god who is studied and remembered by researchers studying Mesopotamian mythology and history. We have come to the end of our video. Please subscribe to the channel to support and like our video. Healthy days.